Hello folks, Wilfred here bringing you another nerdy video. This week is Tuesday, so therefore it is a D&D story or a discussion series. I will be getting into my new schedule system a little bit later on in today. I'll be showcasing it. I've already put up a video last night on doing it and as part of my Watchdog Cyber Monday stream. But I plan to do another video again today to better showcase and focus on the schedule itself. But in the meantime, let's get down to business. And that is talking about the Artificer in Tashas Cauldron of everything. Now, first things first, folks, because I did do a video a while ago talking about this, however, there was a small error, which was my mic. Even though it came up as being the audio being picked up, it wasn't actually being picked up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using my phone to double check the audio. Let's find out here. There we go. I'm being picked up, so lock the phone immediately. Now, folks, for legal reasons, I'm not going to be showing you any of the content in the book. I will be talking about it, and the only parts that I will be properly reading out aloud will be lore things, because actually no, I'm actually okay with actually reading out some parts of this book, because it has been about a week since it came out, and also some of these book classes are actually reprints of stuff that has already come out, which is one of the reasons why I said Tash's Cauldron of everything was a little disappointing. I didn't get everything that I wanted out of it, and some of the subclasses were just simple reprints from like Ravnica, Eberron, and Theros, which is okay because it means that those classes could be more effectively used in games like Adventurers League. Anyway, now as we all know, the Artificer is the tinkerer and inventor of D&D. It was first introduced in 5th edition through the UA, and then it was implemented in the Eberron campaign setting. So if people wanted to play an Artificer, the official version of it, they had to go with Eberron. One of the problems with the Eberron description was it revolved around Eberron, which was it was very robotic, they were a bit more technologically advanced as opposed to some of the other planes that are out there. So some of the flavoring of things were a bit off. So they redid the flavor of the Artificer for generalized campaign settings. So here we go. We have the Artificer symbol right there. That'll be the display. I will be changing the picture based on, let's see, the category. So we're going to read the flavor text first, and then when we get to create an Artificer, I'll switch to the next picture. So, Masters of Invention. Artificers use ingenuity and magic to unlock extraordinary capabilities in objects. They see magic as a complex system waiting to be decoded and harnessed in their spells and inventions. You can find everything you need to play one of these inventors in the next few sections. Artificers use a variety of tools to channel their arcane power to cast a spell. An artificer might use an alchemist's supplies to create a potent elixir, calligrapher's supplies to inscribe a sigil of power, or tinkerer's tools to craft a temporary charm. The magic of artificers is tied to their tools and their talents, and few other characters can produce the right tool for the job as well as an artificer. Now, that gets on to one of my favourite things about the Artificer is from one of the UAs. They suggested when you play an Artificer, don't just simply, have you casting spells. You could describe the spells as being more inventions. For example, they said a Cure Wounds thing might be some sort of robotic thing that you place on something, or like a spray, and it's a spray of the salve that heals the wound. Or maybe for healing, and then maybe for shock and grabs, you just because they used to be able to swap their spells. There was a point when they could swap their spells, and the idea was you dismantle the thing for Cure Wounds and you recreate it to create like a glove for shocking grasp. So they talked about flavoring the spells as, you know, gadgets that you use rather than simply casting simple magic. And that was one of the things that I found really fascinating with Artificers, and I really want to play it. Here we go, Artificers in many worlds. Throughout the D&D multiverse, Artificers create inventions and magic items of peace and war. Many lives have been brightened or saved because the work of kind artificers, but countless lives have also been lost because of the mass destruction unleashed by certain artificer creations. In the Forgotten Realms, the island of Latan is home of many artificers, and in the world of Dragonlance, Tinkerer gnomes are often members of this class. The strange technologies in the barrier peaks of the world of Greyhawk have inspired some folk to walk down the path of the artificer, and in Mestara, various nations employ artificers to keep airships and other wondrous devices operational. Artificers in the city of Sigil share discoveries throughout the multiverse, and from there the gnome artificer V runs a cosmos-spanning business that hires adventurers to fix problems and others deemed infixable. In V's homeworld, Eberron, magic is harnessed as a form of science and deployed throughout society, largely as a result of the wondrous ingenuity of artificers. So there we go. Sorry folks, that's one of the things I'm really getting frustrated with the notifications, is because like they come up in the videos like that. I have to try and stay on top of them. Now we're getting to creating an artificer, so we're just going to briefly switch to the next picture. Now I will say before moving on, the artificer we are seeing in this picture, a gnome artificer V and her cockatrice-like eldritch cannon battle foes atop a lightning train. Now this is going back to Eberron, because when the lightning train was one of the key features of Eberron, and like there were even things about doing a heist, which we can probably see these attackers do, because if you look in the background, some of them are parachuting down onto the train, because Eberron is a very technological thing, like it described. It's where artificers are much at home, and magic is part of science. So artificers get the following features at first level: magical tinkering, spell casting. They get 2 cantrips known, and they have 2 first level spell slots. Now I should point out that I think the term is half caster, or I think actually there might be a third caster, because they go up to 5th level magic. I'm trying to remember what terminology I should use, third or half caster. It depends on the spell slot the paladins and rangers get. Anyway, then at level 2 you get infused item. Now the amount of infusions you know is 4, but you also you can have a maximum of 2 infused items. Then at level 3 you get your Artificer Specialist and the right tool for the job. Your spell slots go up by 1. Level 4 you get your ASI, otherwise known as an ability score improvement. Then at level 5 you get your Artificer Specialist feature. Your infusions and infused items does not go up, neither does your cantrips, but your first level spell slots do go up by another 1. So you now have 4 first level spell slots, and you now have 2 second level spell slots. At level 6 you get tool expertise. Your infusions go up. Your infusions known go up by 2, so that's 6. You can have 3 infused items, so about half. You don't get any new improvements other than that. At level 7 you get Flash of Genius, and then you get nothing new except you get your 3rd second level spell slot. Then at level 8 you get your another ASI, no improvements otherwise. At level 9 you get your Artificer Specialist feature. Let's see here, you get 2 3rd level spell slots, no other improvement there. At level 10, you get magic item adept. Your number of your infusions known goes up to 8. Your max items that you can have infused go up to 4. You do get a new cantrip, so you have a total of 3 cantrips, and then you get your third level spell slot. At level 11, you get spell storing item, and then you that's when you get your third level thing. Level 12, you get your ASI. No improvements. Level 13, level 13 is actually a dead level. You get nothing. At level 14, you get magic item savant. You have a total of 10 known infusions. You also have 5 maximum items that you can have with your infusions. And you do get some at level 13. You get your first 4th level spell slot, and then at level 15 you get your improvement to that. So you now have 2 4th level spell slots. At level 16 you get your ASI. And I've neglected to say that at level 14 you do, however, get your 4th cantrip. Sorry folks, sometimes it's hard to keep track of the chart when I'm looking at it like this. At level 17 you get your 5th level spell slot, you get your 3rd, 4th level spell slot, and then at level 18 you get magic item master, which gives you 12 maximum known infusions. You can have 6 items infused at any given time. You have 4 cantrips, 4 first levels, 3 second, 3 thirds, 3 fourths, and 1 fifth. At level 19 you get an ASI. You also get your final improvement to your spell casting, which is your 5th level spell slots go from 1 to 2. And last but not least, at level 20 you get Soul of the Artificer. Okay, now let's get on to the quick build. This is going to be a bit awkward. You can make an Artificer quickly by following these suggestions. First, put your highest ability score in Intelligence, followed by Constitution or Dexterity. Second, choose the guild, artisan background. There you go. Very simple, very cut and dry. But again, it should not be no surprise of level your highest being Intelligence. Your hit dice for an Artificer is a D8. Your starting health is therefore an A plus con, and your hit points increase after level 1 is you either roll a D8 or you take a 5, which is the average for the D8, and you add your Constitution modifier to it. You start your proficiencies at the start of the game are light armor, medium armor, and shields. Simple weapons. You also get Thieves' Tools, Tinker's Tools, one type of Artisan Tools of your choice. Your saving throw proficiencies are in Constitution and Intelligence, and you choose 2 from the following skills: Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Nature, Perception, and Sleight of Hand. Let's see here. Now there is an extra caveat, folks. There's a special note here. The secrets of gunpowder weapons have been discovered in various corners of the D&D multiverse. If your Dungeon Master uses the rules on firearms in the DMG, and your Artificer has been exposed to the operation of such weapons, your Artificer is proficient with them. So therefore, if there are gunpowder weapons in your campaign, and if it's reasonable that the Artificer would have, been exposed to them, chances are they would know how to use firearms. Now, your starting equipment is as follows: any 2 simple weapons of your choice, a light crossbow with 20 bolts, and your choice of studded lead armor or scale mail. And you also start off with Thieves' Tools and Dungeoner's Pack. So, on that note, then it seems like I'm surprised they gave Thieves' Tools. In my opinion, one of the starting tools of an Artificer should have been, instead of Thieves' Tools, maybe Tinkerers. That's my opinion. because tinkerers, I don't understand the logic they had for putting in thieves tools rather than tinkerers. Oh well. Either way, you can forgo your starting equipment in exchange for money. um, you start with 5d4 times 10 gold, and you then buy your equipment that way. Most people I know stick to starting equipment, and generally most people that I've been playing with lately don't like starting at level 1, so therefore we forgo the starting equipment. We're like, okay, you can have starting equipment plus a few extra items to show off that you have some level of experience. Now, to multi-class into the Artificer. Now, again, I do want to caveat, because again, not a lot of people know this. Multi-classing is a variant rule. Your DM can actually say no. There will be no multi-classing in my campaigns, and DMs have final say on if you are allowed to multi-class. So keep that in mind, folks. Multi-classing is not a hard line rule. It is up to the DM. So, you need to have a minimum of intelligence 13 to take a level in this class. Or you need to have a minimum of that level if you're on a multi-class into something other than Artificer, if you're already an Artificer. When you multi-class into Artificer, you gain, let's see, light armor and medium armor, shields, thieves tools, and tinkerer's tools. Spell slots. Add half your levels rounded up to the Artificer class to the appropriate levels from other classes to determine your available spell slots. So I think that means this is a half caster. Okay. Now, let's go on to the class features. Now, folks, I do want to caveat something real quick before we fully move on. Is for the full video, for this recording, it's only going to be the core class that I will be featuring in the recording, which will then be initially uploaded onto YouTube immediately today, and then next week the stream will go from Twitch to YouTube, and at that point, that's when it will be available to everyone. So if you're interested in the subclasses, you will have to either jump to Twitch, or you will have to wait 1 week to get the subclasses. So I just wanted to cover that before we went on. So let's see, what's the next picture? Here we go. We'll is that picture meant for one of the subclasses? No, it's for infused items. So yeah, we'll leave this up. Okay. So, magical tinkering. This is one of your first level features. Obviously, these will be in descending order of when you unlock them. So at level 1, you learned how to invest a spark of magic into mundane magic items. Sorry, mundane objects. Sorry. To use this ability, you must have thieves tools or an artisan tools in hand. You then touch a tiny non-magical object, and as an action, you give it one of the following properties of your choice. The object sheds bright light in a 5-foot radius and dim light an additional 5 feet. Whenever tapped, it's only one. Whenever you're tapped by a creature or an object, emits a recorded message and can be heard from up to 10 feet away. You heard the message when you bestow this property on the object, and the recording can be no more than 6 seconds long. The object continuously emits of your choice of an odor or non-verbal sound, wind, waves, chirping, and the like, and the chosen phenomenon can be perceivable up to 5 feet away. A static visual effect appears on one of the object's surfaces. This effect can be a picture, up to 25 words of text, lines, and shapes, or a mixture of elements as you like. I have a fun idea of that, just because I've been watching The Mandalorian, of like bounty things, like these enchanted objects that are like this, but they've been cast on the object, like they're a more stronger version. So instead of having bounty boards, like maybe I'll create a bounty guild that's exclusive to just solely bounty hunting, and they use these rather than going to the Adventurers League. So I might do something like that. The chosen property lasts indefinitely as an action. You can touch an object and end the property early. You can bestow a magic magic on multiple objects touching one object each time you use this feature. Though a single object can only be your one property at a time, the maximum number of objects you can affect with this feature at one time is equal to your intelligence modifier minimum of one object. If you try to exceed your maximum, the oldest property immediately ends, and then the new property applies. So there you go, folks. You're encouraged to have, I would say you're encouraged to tell your artificers to write down their current magical objects that they use this feature with. So therefore they'd be like, okay, that one's gone, this is the newest one. Okay. Now there is a sidebar that does talk about what I just talked about, which is, you know, the spell casting. As an artificer, you use tools when you cast your spells. When describing your spell casting, think about how you're using that tool. For example, if you cast Cure Wounds using alchemist supplies, you could be quickly applying a salve. If you cast it using Tinker's tools, you might have a miniature mechanical spider that binds the wounds. The effect of the spell is the same either way. So there you go, folks. Now, oh yeah, this is talking about at level 1 also you get your spell casting feature. Tools required. You produce your artificer spell effects using spell casting focus. Okay, yeah, this is just talking about sorry, it's a bit longer than, like, I'm not used to seeing a long section about the spell casting focus. Whereas for you it is tools. Normally, again, folks, it's just a simple rule of you can use your arcane focus to substitute, spellcasting focus to substitute the material components of a spell, as long as the component is not consumed as part of the spell, and as long as it does not have a gold value. So there you go. After you get the infused item feature a second level, you can also use any item bearing one of your infusions as a spell casting focus. So there you go, folks. There's an addition upgrade. So if you infuse a glove to, I don't know, to have the shocking grass cantrip constantly, or whatever. I'm not sure on infusions. We will cover the infusions. You can use that as a spell casting focus. You get your cantrips at level 1 as well, and it talks about how every time you gain leveling the artificer, you can replace one of your cantrips with another one on your spell list, and then you can prepare spells. You can pair a number of spells after a long rest based on the number of your intelligence modifier plus half your level. So if you're level 2 and your intelligence is modifier is a +4, 5 spells. Yeah, you can have a maximum of 5 spells prepared, and you can change your list after a long rest. One of which, sorry, there's a caveat. Some classes have these caveats, like the monk has a caveat of, as part of their short rest, they need to spend 30 minutes meditating. Here's a caveat. You need to spend time tinkering with your spell casting focus and at least 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. So yeah, you need to spend 1 minute per spell level. Let's see here. That's something that I would enforce, because, like, again, it's one of those things, like, you don't notice it at first, but it's part of the class. Spellcasting abilities, intelligence. You have ritual casting, so therefore you can cast spells as a ritual, which would save you a spell slot, but it does take longer to cast. Wow, okay, instead of reading through everything I am going to show your spell list. Here we go, folks. So I'm just going to take about a couple of seconds. Alright, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go all the way down to 2nd level, or until we can see the last few. So there you go. There's your level spells. Give you time to process that. And now we're back to the top, and we're going back to the previous image. There we go. Sorry folks, again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules or anything, and again, unfortunately, I can't just simply have a system where you guys can just completely flat out ignore, the need of D&D Beyond. Now, unfortunately, you still need D&D Beyond because it manages all this stuff. So, let's see here. We're now on to infusion items. At level 2, you gain the ability to imbue mundane items with certain magical effects. Infusions known. Whenever you gain a level in this class, you can replace one of your Artificer infusions with and learn a new one. You need to finish a long rest. While to infuse an object, you need to finish a long rest, and you need to touch the non-magical object to imbue with one of your Artificer infusions. Turn it into a magical item. An infusion works only on certain kinds of objects as specified in the infusion's description. If the item requires enchantment, you can attune to it yourself. If in an instance you infuse the item, if you decide to attune it to the item later, you must do so doing the normal rules. Your infusion lasts indefinitely, but when you die, the infusion vanishes after a number of days equal to your intelligence modifier. The infusion also vanishes if you replace your knowledge of the infusion. You can infuse more than one object, but there's a maximum as described in the table. If an infusion ends on an item that contains other items like a bag of holding, the contents harmlessly appear in and around the space, where it will bring up the infusions table at the end. The picture is describing a dwarf alchemist with a homunculus servant. At level 3, you get your Artificer specialist, which will be the alchemist, armor, artillerist, and the battlesmith. At level 3, you also get the right tool for the job. You've learned how to produce exactly the tool you need with thieves' tools and artisan's tools in hand. You can magically create one set of artisan's tools in a non-occupied space from 5 feet of you. This creation requires 1 hour of uninterrupted work, which can coincide with a short or long rest. Though the product of magic tools are non-magical and they vanish when you use this feature again. So therefore, you can use your thieves' tools and other artisan tools to create other different tools that you might need. So yeah, we're going to skip the slide description. You get expertise in one. You're proficient in check you make with. Okay, you get expertise in any tool. When you use your proficiency with any tool, which I pretty much guess is any tool. I don't think there's going to be a tool that Artificers won't have by the end of this campaign. Sorry, by the end of this creation. Actually, let me see here. Tools. Thieves' tools. Okay, so there are some artisan tools which you're not proficient in. So you will have a maximum of 3 tools. But again, that's 3 tools that you will have, expertise in. Flash of Genius. You gain the ability to come up with solutions under pressure when you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an ability check or a saving throw. You can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. Once you use this feature, you a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum once. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Pretty simple, straightforward. Magic item adept. You can attune to now 4 magical items. That is pretty good. And if you craft a magic item, a rarity of common or uncommon, it takes you a quarter of the normal time and it costs you half as much. So yeah, it's just your expertise, like your knowledge of making these items, increasing, so therefore you know how to make them a lot quicker and faster. So level spell storing item. Long story short of it is you can store a spell whenever at the end of a long rest. You can store a spell in an object, and non-magical. Wait, hold on. No, it can be magical. Okay, so it doesn't have to be, it doesn't say non-magical. Alright, hold on folks, we might have to take a brief break. we will have to take a brief break with this video. I apologize. It's just that I have to grab food real quick. So unfortunately, I'll be deactivating the camera.